And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man we've all been waiting for and waiting for. Would you welcome home, please, television's brightest new star, the legendary, inspirational, the one and only king of comedy,
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tom McCaffrey. Thanks for tuning in. Last exit to Brooklyn. Let's get right into it. The presidential debacle debate just happened 2 days ago, and clearly, I don't know if you watched it, but I mean, I'm sure you heard it was just a shit show. It was it's basically just Trump screaming the entire time. So I mean, so that the other guy, Biden, couldn't talk. I guess that was the strategy. It's basically like, when you know you're not going to win an argument, you just scream so that the other person can't say anything. I've gotten into arguments with people like that where they're just like, their tactic is to just yell. And it's usually a sign of like you're not very confident in your side of the argument. So it's just kind of like, well, just scream so that they can't say anything. It's like, I guess you win. Yeah, I guess I do. It's kind of like if you are playing a game and you just never let them it's like if you're playing tennis and you just never let the other guy serve. Like, well, I just win, I guess. Oh, okay. I don't know if that was the best analogy, but yeah, something like that. It's like if you're playing a game and you never let the other guy go. Basically, you don't let them have their turn. Like, I guess I win. But obviously what he's doing now is, and I don't feel like Biden did a great job, mainly because he couldn't really get anything out most of the time because he was just screamed over. Or if he did get something out, you couldn't really hear it. But Trump, I thought Trump was atrocious because he's just crazy. He comes off as unhinged and obviously he's a bully, and yeah, he just came off as insane. He doesn't look like someone who has any kind of the whole stable genius thing. It was just he's not stable, and he doesn't have any kind of control of his emotions, and it's just kind of horrible to watch. And and now I get it. It's basically that's what autocrats always do, is they wear you out and demoralize everyone so that they're just kind of they kind of just stop fighting back. That's what he's doing to the country. It's basically like people are so tired out by it that you can't even watch it anymore. It's just kind of like it's like tuning out in the middle of like a rape at this point. It's kind of, it's like what abusers do. Like they wear you down and demoralize you so that you finally just stop fighting back. And that's kind of what the that's what the strategy is now. Basically, the strategy of a rapist, just rape the country, basically. Like, oh, they'll just submit, just keep raping them. And it's actually, his voice now is like a trigger to me. Just even like there were points of the debate I couldn't even watch because literally I had to look away from the screen because he's just so like, he's like sickening to look at and listen to. Like, hearing his voice now is kind of like, they say when someone has to like face their abuser in court, like they're rapists, and they hear the voice, and they kind of it's like a PTSD thing. That's what hearing him is like now. And it's very angering to watch because knowing that people still support it. But then it's funny when you see the supporters are all, it's like the Proud Boys. I'd heard of the Proud Boys. What are they so proud of? The fact that they're not getting laid? Is that basically? And that's basically what all that comes down to. These male alt-right hate groups. It's just, you're not getting laid. That's basically like, if someone what we need to do is just to teach these guys how to like talk to women. We need like a pickup artist lesson or something, or prostitutes. I think that would help, because I feel like, I'm not even kidding, I feel like the root of a lot of these problems with school shootings and these men who are so angry that they take up arms and all they think about is fighting, and they're really aggressive. They're just not getting laid. So, one thing that's hilarious is just it's so pathetic at this point. The lie. First of all, it's amazing he just keeps lying and the things don't happen and people just keep falling for them. Um, I'm very like if someone lies and then they don't do the thing once, I'm done with that. It's kind of the theory of like I've had it where I'll meet a woman, I'll make plans, and then they cancel on me once, and I'm done. When that happens, I'm done with the woman. I don't. I think the guys will, continue to be like, well, how about like this time? Let's try. It's like if someone does it once, they're going to keep doing it. What is it? Fool me once. Um, but it's just all he does. Like, and like I mean, one of the things that's really annoying. No one mentions this anymore on the Democrat side. Is the wall. I mean, I don't know. The wall doesn't get mentioned anymore, and it's like all he ran on the first time. Just the wall. Mexico paid for the wall. That's never even. He's trying to pretend like that never was said ever. Um, Especially the Mexico paying for it part. Releasing the tax returns. He's said the entire first campaign and just keeps saying it. And I guess people think he's going to do it, even though he just says it over and over and never does it. It's just one of those things like that people, these idiots just keep falling for it, like, yeah, he said that, he never did it, whatever. He'll do it though. That's how liars work. They just keep lying. And then now he's like he's pushing his new thing is that the vaccine is going to be coming out before the election. Oh, really? That you're going to have a vaccine done in 4 weeks? I have barely heard anything about that. Every scientist and science organization has basically said at the earliest it'll be next year, maybe by like March or like they might have one by the end of the year, but they're not going to start. You can't start using it or distributing it until next year. But he's just kind of insistent. No, it's ready to go. 3 weeks. Yeah. Oh, really? What's weird? Well, right before the election, you're gonna cure the coronavirus. You've done nothing the entire time, right? But you're gonna cure it right before the election. And that's the thing. Some people are so dumb. They're like, "Oh my god!" Like he's gonna basically say there's a cure, literally like on November 1st, and people are like, "He cured it, yeah." He's gonna act like he killed Bin Laden. And I'm just sick of the bullshit of like I've done more than anyone. That's my impression of him. It's just I don't put a lot into my impressions. I've done more than anyone in the world has ever done. That's the other thing. Everything's so absurd. It's not like there's no realism in anything he says. Like, oh, I've done this, or it's never like, oh, I did this and I did this. It's I've done more than anyone in the world. Like literally, those are the statements he makes. I've done, and then first of all, now I guess what's kind of frustrating is I think people who didn't take part because I've talked to so many idiots who um didn't like him and did the whole but they were like they didn't want him to be president, but they voted third party, and they're like because they're like I couldn't bring myself to vote for Hillary. That's a big thing I hear all the time. I couldn't bring myself. You couldn't bring yourself. You weren't blowing four dudes. All right. It's not like you didn't have to toss someone's salad. What do you mean you couldn't bring yourself to like put your finger up and click on a candidate that wasn't insane and wasn't going and I couldn't bring myself to vote for that person who had experience. I just didn't like her. I didn't like her that much. And that's basically always what it comes down to. I don't like her. Like I've gotten into debates with you can just tell when you're talking to someone who's dumb when like that's all they have. I just don't like her. You don't know her, idiot. What you like well, so the third party thing, what was so funny is I was talking to this moron guy I know, and he was like, yeah, I just voted for Gary Johnson, third party. And this is a guy who like hates Trump. And I was like, well, did you want Gary Johnson to be president? He's like, no, I didn't think he would have been good. And I was like, so why did you do that? Why did you take part in anything? It's like you got up that day, you got dressed, you went down to a voting, poll place, and you took the time to vote for someone you didn't even want to be president. Like that's the attitude that has gotten us here, is just kind of, you know what, I'm gonna go take part in this, but literally do nothing. But I'm gonna make all the effort and take all the steps, but literally not take part in it. It's just so odd. Like, it's kind of like if I was I don't know, going to like a basketball game, the finals, and and it was like the Lakers versus, who was it? The Lakers versus Miami, and I bet all my money on Jill Stein, and then I went to the game, and I was like, yeah, come on, oh man, I can't believe Jill Stein didn't win. She didn't win the basketball game. I can't believe it. Yeah, she wasn't in the basketball game. I know, but I don't know. I just don't like those teams. Why did you go to the game? I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny to go and watch the game and root for it the whole time, and take my money and bet on someone who wasn't even in the game. Oh wow, you're really dumb. Yeah. And then I keep seeing these after the debate. They always do this thing where they talk to these moronic undecided voters who are just the most worthless idiots in the world, especially now. I can kind of understand it in other elections. I can understand it in other elections because I think undecided voters are just uninteresting, dumb people, have nothing going on in their lives, and this is like their chance to get people to listen to them because they know they kind of have some semblance of power. But if you're undecided at this point, like, I don't. What are you waiting for to happen? You know, what could you possibly be on the fence about here? You know what I mean? It's kind of like um, being on the fence with like I don't know, like pedophilia. Like it'd be like interviewing people like that. Like, so how do you feel about pedophilia? Are you for it or against it? I'm undecided. I need to see more. I need to see more stuff on it. Yeah, no, we've explained it to you what it is, and we've shown you these pedophiles and these victims. So have you made a decision about whether you're against children being molested? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think that pedophile guy said some really horrible things. And he did some horrible things, but I mean, that kid, I just don't like him. I heard he like sent some emails. There's some weird emails, that kid. So I don't know. Yeah, like with undecided voters in this election, like what more would you need to have? Like, do you want Trump to actually shoot you on Fifth Avenue? Because that's another thing I'm tired of, these people who are kind of like regretting their Trump vote, even though some of them still aren't, which I think is just hilarious. I feel like not regretting your Trump vote at this point is like not regretting cutting off your own legs with a chainsaw. Like, so you cut your own legs off with a chainsaw 4 years ago. How do you feel about that? I don't know. I'm still I'm still kind of behind it. Yeah, I think it was a good choice. Yeah, hasn't it ruined your life? Yeah, it has, and I'm probably gonna die from it. But whatever. I think it's funny. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the other people that don't regret it. Because this one guy who I guess the daughter of this guy who voted for Trump and then he died from coronavirus. I guess he said he regretted it right before he died. So it's basically, that's what it's come to. It's like literally people have to die to finally regret voting for Trump. They're like, all right, he killed me. You know what? I guess I regret. I guess he wasn't the right man for the job because he killed me. And it's funny how people, will still kind of try and argue that he's a good president. He's not a good president. He's not good at the job. And I say this over and over. And there's a movie that just came out, The Comey Rule, about how shitty Trump is, and it's like he's still in his first term of presidency, and there's movies coming out about how bad he is at being president. That's when like you're bad at your job. When like you're bad at your job when like there's movies about how bad you are at your job coming out while you still have the job. Imagine if that just happened to you in your life. Like, imagine if you worked at like CVS. Imagine if you worked at Staples and then like a movie came out about you being horrible at your job at Staples, like stealing office supplies and lying and being late to work every day. That would be a bad. That would be a bad sign. Like people are like, hey, how's your job going? Like, oh, it's all right. Really? I didn't think it was going that great. Oh, why? Why do you say? Oh, because I just saw they just came out with a $50 million movie about how you're terrible at your job. Yeah. So it didn't look like things were going that well. Really? Yeah, they're apparently they're making movies now about how bad you are at your job. Yeah, like bit and like Meryl Streep's in it. Man, wow, that does not reflect well on me. I must be doing a really horrible job. Yeah, and apparently they have more movies in the works about you being bad at working at Staples. Wow, I can't believe I still have this job. Yeah, we're all surprised you still have it because you're clearly really bad at it. Was the movie good? Yeah, it was great. It got great reviews. Everyone loved it. They said it was a really good depiction of how bad you are at working at Staples. Man, I gotta go. I gotta get back to work. I gotta go beat up my boss. I have to go yell racist things at the customers. But I'll check that out. Sounds like a good movie. I mean, unfortunately, it's about me being horrible at things. I mean, has that ever happened where like some in the first term of your presidency? Because it's not like he's been president like 7 years and it's at the end of his second term. It's like in this like the second year they were starting movies. um, yeah, that was hilarious. That was so funny what I said. What else was I gonna say? That this is one thing that's really this is one thing that's really annoying too. They keep, he just basically yells racist things, and he just says racist things all the time, kind of blatantly, and people will be like, "Oh yeah, it's like a racist dog whistle," and it's just kind of like, why do they keep comparing it to a dog whistle? I mean, a dog whistle. I mean, from what I understand. A dog whistle is basically when it's a whistle that when you blow it, no one can hear it because the pitch of the sound is too high for human ears to pick up, but dogs can hear it. But he's just saying things that human beings and everyone can hear. So how is that a dog whistle? That's basically just a whistle. It's basically just a person saying racist things like into a microphone, How did that get compared to a dog whistle? Like, if you hear someone saying racist things, do you compare it to a dog whistle? Like, hey, look at that guy on the corner screaming the N word and burning crosses. Man, he's kind of reminds me of a dog whistle. Yeah. Really? What about that as like a dog whistle? Because dog whistles, it's like no one can hear it except for dogs. Yeah, but he's just screaming the N word. Yeah. And you can hear it. Yeah, I know. It's not a good analogy. I guess it's more just like a racist. That would be a better way to describe it. Not a dog whistle, just a racist guy yelling. They should say that on news. When he says those racist things into the microphone, that's kind of like a racist just saying crazy things. Yeah. So that was hilarious. I said that, and then those things happened. Then this is another thing I was thinking of. When people disagree on politics at this point, they're kind of like, why do we have to talk about politics? We just disagree. Like, can't we just agree to disagree? But it's kind of gotten to the point where you can't really do that because it's just gotten so blatant and horrible and egregious that it'll be kind of like, if you have like a rapist over to your house and you're like, yeah, we just disagree. He's really into rape. He likes to rape people, and I don't rape people. But it's just kind of our world views. That's what he's into. those are his views. He likes having sex with people against their will, and I'm just not. We can sit down and have Thanksgiving together, though, and just not talk about rape. Hey, can we just not talk about rape? All right, we have different views on it. We just disagree. I'm using a lot of rape analogies today. I didn't mean to do that, but I guess after that debate, I feel like my eyes had been raped. I was eye raped. This is another thing. So yesterday was the anniversary of OJ Simpson getting released from jail, like a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And this is one thing I've always thought of that's kind of amazing to me about that whole story, because obviously, it had happened in '94, and it was such an insane story, and I guess people forget. You lose perspective, like you forget what it was like before that happened, because you kind of forget what OJ, how he really was looked at in the culture. He was just this football hero that could kind of do no wrong and had kind of a squeaky clean image. Kind of. I mean, I guess he had beaten his wife, but it wasn't really that known. But I was thinking, like, Fred Goldman became this kind of figure that was really in the media, and he was very outspoken, and because his son Ron Goldman was murdered by OJ. But I'm trying to go think back to, like, what must not have been like for, like, when Fred Goldman got that phone call and found out what happened. I mean, that must have just been mind blowing, because OJ Simpson was such a beloved, famous sports figure. And he probably, I mean, obviously Fred Goldman knew who he was, but like he might have been like a fan of his. What would that be like to just get that call and find that something like that out? Like, could you imagine, like, if you got a phone call and you answer the phone in the middle of the night, and you're like, hello, hey, hello, and they're like, hey, I have some bad news. Yeah, your kid was murdered. Really? Oh my God, that's horrible. What? How? Oh, he was stabbed to death. Oh my God, really? Jeez. But, like, do you know who did it? Yeah, it was Michael Jordan. Like, what? What are you talking about? Wait a minute, I'm gonna need a second here. This is insane. My son was murdered horribly, and you're saying that the biggest sports figure in the world did it? Yeah, yeah. Talk to you later. Good luck with the rest of your life. Oh, cool. That must just be so weird. Imagine you get a call and you find out that one of your relatives is dead, and like one of the most beloved, famous celebrities in the world did it. Hello? Yeah, your grandmother was shot in the face. Oh my God, who did it? Cardi B. Cardi B? What are you talking about? She killed my grandmother? Yeah. It's weird, right? Yeah, I don't know how did that even happen? I don't know. It's kind of apparently your grandmother knew someone who was sleeping with Cardi B and she got mad or something. I'm gonna need to hear more about this. I'm gonna need to hear more about this. Um, that's basically. I was gonna do some stuff about. I've been on these dating apps lately, and they're always they're always kind of hilarious. But I think I'm gonna have to do an entire program on that. Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna end that here. Okay, well, last exit to Brooklyn. This is a short one, but thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.